Welcome to our podcast at home on the lakeshore, where we talk about home loans with our local home loan experts at UnitedOne Credit Union. And this is episode number 9, and today's topic is underwriting. But before we dive into the talk about underwriting, let's welcome back in our home loan experts, Linda, Carrie, and Julie. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, everyone. Yes, bright, smiling faces. Summer's in full swing. The weather's beautiful outside, finally. And we got road trips, visits to lakeshore beaches, going up to the cabins up north. I just want to ask you, what are some of the fun summer activities that you enjoy? What are things you love about summer in Wisconsin?
I love bike riding, pedal bike riding. So I have been on my bike, did 34 miles last weekend.
Nice.
I'm back in the swing of biking.
Wow, 34 miles you said?
I did.
Well, I don't know if I've gone 34 miles on my bike in the last decade.
I used to bike the Mariners Trail after work during the week. I used to love doing that. That was a nice ride, but it's been a while. I have to dust off the old bike one of these days and get back into the swing. It's a good activity.
Mine is hanging in the garage and it doesn't really come out.
Same.
Yeah, I think ours has moved from the garage to the basement, back out to the garage in some vain hope that we're going to get it out, and then back down to the basement, and then the pattern repeats itself. I probably got to put air in the tires.
Yeah.
I challenge all of you. Even if it's a mile, I challenge you.
Okay.
Maybe less than a mile, but
around the block. How's that sound, Julie?
Right?
Sounds good. If
To
you're
the
on
end of the
it.
driveway and back without skinning my knees.
without falling over.
Right.
Oh,
I like to garden.
Riding a bike. Oh, yes,
Okay.
Carrie, you're good.
Gardening.
You're good flowers.
I'm a flower person.
I
Yes,
see the
for those
pictures you
listeners-
usually bring in.
Yeah, for those listeners, if you come to Carrie's office there at UnitedOne, she has plants galore. She's
I'm
got
a crazy
one that's
plant lady.
Yeah, she's got one that's just extending. It's like a vine. It's going around the office. It's exploring the space, as they say,
Yes.
and really seems to be enjoying it in there.
That's
Carrie,
right.
Carrie, can you slide over
Let
so
me see
everybody
if I can give you
sees?
guys a little view of my
There
green
it
space
is.
here. Can you see?
Woo,
Nice.
yes.
Jumping around
As close as we get to a
over.
greenhouse here.
Yeah.
So I like to go camping. So that's going to be coming up soon here.
Nice.
Yes, camping. Okay, so now I have to ask you what kind of camping, Linda, because there's several different kinds there's tent
I
camping and
picture
laying on the
glamping
ground.
with Linda.
There's
Yeah,
glamping or cabins, and then there's like the
Uh,
campers or RVs or
So
which one?
I've done it all. So I've done from tent, then we went to pop-up camper, then we did a regular camper. Right now we're going to do a cabin this summer. So,
Ooh.
we've done every aspect of it. But I don't know if I ever want to go back to tent camping, but
Once you've
Yep,
graduated
never say
into a
never.
camper or an RV or a cabin, and you're like, wait, there's a bed in here? I can
Yeah.
sleep in a bed?
Yeah.
And it doesn't leak? What?
Yeah,
Right.
it's one thing to be in your teens or 20s laying on the ground in a sleeping bag, it's all right. Some people even really like it, but at a certain age, it's like, I need the mattress. I gotta sleep
Yeah.
on something.
But I love like the campfire, the being around that, doing the s'mores. I don't eat a lot of s'mores. I really eat the marshmallow pretty much. I love the marshmallow. Not a chocolate person. Don't kill me, girls. I don't eat chocolate that much. But yeah, I love being out there in the outdoors. Yeah, mosquitoes are killers, but it's okay.
Yeah, just spray some stuff on there, light up the citronella candles, and just kind of, you can always do my grandpa's strategy, which is puff on a stogie, and that always seemed to keep them at bay for a while too.
That
Keeps
keeps
everything
everything
I'm not saying
away.
that's not healthy. That's not a healthy remedy. I'm just saying it did have some effect.
Oh my.
Funny. That's funny.
That would get me to leave too.
Yeah.
Yeah. good for more than just chasing off mosquitoes.
Exactly. Unwanted neighbors.
Yeah.
I mean, it really scared people away when he had one of those and the polka music was playing. Then it was, you might as well
I'd
be
be
sitting
out.
out by himself. Oh, well, it's great. We're here this summer, but it is time now for everyone's favorite part of the show. Well, at least Julie's favorite part of the show, and it's time for Julie's joke of the show.
All right. Why did the golfer pack an extra pair of socks?
I don't know why.
I don't know why.
In case you got a hole in one.
Oh, that's cute.
Yep. I'll see you at the next podcast.
There you have it, folks. I wonder if somebody's out there, writing all these down. Maybe we could do like a collection in the future. It's like, do you have all of Julie's jokes of the show? We could do like action cards for each one. Have you collected all of them yet? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right. We've digressed a little bit, but hey, can you tell it's nice out? It's beautiful. We're all in good positive moods and positive vibes for the summer. But it is time to talk about our topic of the day, and that is underwriting. So in this episode, we're going to pull back the curtain a little bit and share some of the behind the scenes element that go into how your mortgage loan gets underwritten. Now, I'm going to be honest with everyone listening and with our home loan experts here that this is an area that's a mystery to me as well. So which one of our experts would like to lead us off with this topic?
So I will start. Well, really, as a loan officer, we really try to collect as much information as we believe we're going to need. Sometimes we go on and beyond and we're like, okay, give me pay stubs, give me tax returns, give me this, because we're going to be looking at all that. And then as we look through credit, we ask you for more documentation. So we collect it all, and it doesn't mean that we are prying into you, but when it comes to the underwriter, they're going to be looking at everything. They're going to be looking at every single thing that you have in order to get you the loan, right?
So the underwriters then are not you're not the underwriters. Do we have a team of folks that do the underwriting, or are those people that are in-house at the credit union, or how does that work?
There's both. If we end up keeping the loan in-house, as we call it, if it stays at the credit union, we do have an in-house underwriter who reviews everything. And while it's going through the process, we may ask for basic information, but the underwriter may want more detail and ask for more. If the loan goes through a secondary market type program where we don't keep the mortgage here, we transfer the servicing after the loan closes to another lender we partner up with, then there's a team of underwriters, and it could be any one of them. So you also have some different ideas and personalities that come into the mix. Some underwriters may be a little easier, some may be a little harder, but they're all generally supposed to be doing the same thing and trying to get you that loan.
Just to backtrack, when we say underwriting, I'm going to give you the definition of underwriting. It's the process of taking on financial risk for a fee, such as loans, insurance, or securities. So that's really what it is taking on the risk. So looking at, they're the second set of eyes that look at that file that say, okay, loan officers or originators, you entered $25 an hour for income. They back us up and say, yep, you have that pay stub. That's why we ask for the things like Linda said. We ask for that to prove, yes, you do make that. Yes, we are willing to take a risk. You can afford things. But it's always the backup. It's the second set of eyes that look through all the documentation.
And I know
Really?
Carrie mentioned, different personalities. and things when an underwriter is looking at the file, but in all honesty, they are looking at guidelines that they have to follow in order to make that loan go through. Because they are not just, oh, I'm going to approve this one, not approve that one. That cannot be done. They're looking at guidelines from Fannie Mae, from Freddie Mac, FHA, any government loans, they're looking at all of those guidelines to make sure that your file fits within that. So they're verifying every single thing that we submit.
So they're kind of there to not only protect the financial institution or those that are essentially funding the mortgage, but also the borrower as well, to make sure that they are honestly, rightfully approved for this loan and can afford that. So we're not putting the consumer or the borrower or the homeowner in a bind either. Correct?
Yep, correct. When Julie was saying about verifying employment, sometimes, not it's, I'm not going to say, okay, your pay stub and your tax return, that's good enough sometimes. Sometimes an underwriter, when they're reviewing the information that we submitted, they come back with saying, now we want a verification of employment. So we now have to send a document to your employer to fill out to back up all the information that we sent them. At that point, we have no control over what your employer is going to fill out. They just have to back up all of the information that we just submitted.
So I'm going to ask a question that may open a can of worms here. And that is, we all know, many of us lived through 2008, 2009, that great recession period where there were so many of these mortgages being written that maybe shouldn't have been, and it got the country and a lot of people across the country, both financials as well as individuals, into a lot of trouble and upside down on kinds of things. Has those regulations really changed how you guys go about mortgages today that would be better protection for the borrowers and for making sure have those guidelines really changed for those underwriters since that time?
Oh, definitely.
They have. There are more rules in place, more documents, more disclosures, additional waiting periods. Things really have changed. I think maybe we've just gotten used to them, but I feel like things have lightened up a little bit, but maybe it's just us getting used to and working through the regulations.
Yeah. And those timelines that Julie was just mentioning, it's not to be that we're hard on you, we're going to take more time to get your loan done, that the underwriter's taking so much time. No, it's that time to give you the time to process what you are doing. Is this a right fit? Am I truly able to buy this home? Am I truly able to refinance and pay the new payment? So we give you the time to process all of that information.
Definitely don't want buyer's remorse with a home. That's for sure. I mean, sometimes you might buy something that cost a few hundred or a few $1,000s and you're like, oh gosh, why did I buy that? Or sometimes you may even pull out of a car lot with a vehicle that you're like, oh, that process maybe didn't go as smoothly as you liked. But I have not met too many people that once they get their home, whether it's their first home or their fifth home, that have that buyer's remorse. And I think part of that is that process takes its time. You understand what that looks like, what those payments are going to be, all those different layers that are in there to make sure that, yes, you can afford this. Yes, this is a good investment. And I think that's part of it too, is the value of your home and the equity that you're going to build, and building that financial dream kind of helps that too. At least my experience, the people that I've known that have bought homes, friends and family, I've never had one of them say like, oh my gosh, I wish we hadn't have done this, or oh boy, I have regrets. Whereas I've heard people say that about vehicles on occasion. I've heard people definitely say that about like toys and odds and ends things that they've bought before, but not that I've had my experience with a home loan or a mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
And underwriters also review the appraisal or the value of the house. They're
Mm-hmm.
going to make sure that you're getting a house that's not in need of major repairs or things like that. If the appraiser notes that there's things that need to be fixed or addressed, that could be one of your underwriting conditions. So yeah, they're trying to make sure when you get into that house, it is sound for our sake as a lender and for your sake as the homeowner.
Yeah, because I mean, you are the one that's looking at the house and you're like, oh, yeah, I want to buy it. I want to buy it as is. But really, the underwriter is there to be your little person on your shoulder saying, hey, we found this on the house. We want that fixed for your protection and, of course, the lender protection. One other thing I wanted to kind of mention is, throughout this process, we have already collected a lot of information up front and, it's going to the underwriter. Underwriter's going to be reviewing everything. Doesn't mean that that's it, that that's the only documentation we're going to ask for. We may ask for more because as they are reviewing, per se, your bank statement, that's a big one. They're reviewing your bank statement and they're reviewing everything on it. It's not that we are judging for what you're spending or what you're doing, anything like that. We're not looking at that. So that's why we ask you for all pages of that bank statement, 1 through 10. If 10 is blank, we still need that page. We ask you not to black out anything. Don't black out your account number, anything like that, because we're not sharing it with anyone else other than the underwriter who's reviewing it. So one of the things that the underwriter looks at in that, they are being a little bit extra, just fine looking at it, because they're looking for stuff like deposits, transfers, possibly other debt that wasn't disclosed because, for example, when we pull your credit report, you have all your debt on there. However, you might have something that you have a tax that you're paying. You're paying maybe a federal tax, state tax, something like that. That is a debt. And if we see it on your statement, they're going to ask questions on that because it wasn't reported on your credit report. There's other things like a firm sometimes doesn't report. Not every lender reports to the credit bureau. So that is what they're looking for in your bank statements, or some of the things that they're looking for in your bank statements.
Again, like Linda has said, it's not us prying for your information. It's really getting you qualified to make sure that you are ready to purchase this house.
Have you guys ever had a situation where an underwriter discovers something that maybe the members didn't know that was beneficial to them, like something that, because I know our last couple of episodes, we've talked about the credit reports and credit scores and some of the stuff on there. Have you guys had any experience with an underwriter finding something that actually ended up benefiting the member by getting something corrected on their credit score?
I don't think I have.
Because I believe by that point, we've been looking at their credit report and we're asking questions of our borrowers, saying we go through the credit report, we list everything that's on there, and we try to catch it ahead of time to say, hey, if this isn't yours, let's get it disputed. So then that way, before we underwrite it, we're already getting it disputed. So to your question, us loan officers are really the ones that are looking for that to try to help our members.
Aha. Yep. Okay, good. Yes. Well, I wondered. See, I told you this was still kind of a mystery to me as well. I've purchased 2 homes in my life, but those are the kinds of things that happen behind the scenes. The Wizard of Oz, and he's behind the curtain and that kind of thing. So that's why we have you experts here on the podcast with us to kind of peel that onion back, because I know you guys do a lot of work with our members and borrowers and potential homeowners to go through that credit score. So I didn't know if that would, but no, it's good then that gets taken care of before it goes to the underwriting, which totally makes sense.
Yep. So one other thing too is on your pay stub. Sometimes there is child support. There could be maybe another deduction that comes out of there that one, maybe you forgot, you've had it on there forever. You don't, it's like that saying, you don't see it, you don't remember, out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. So that is something too that the underwriter will ask for. Do you have something that shows what the required payment is on that child support? Or if you have another deduction coming out of your payroll, what is it? What is it for? So that is other things that they really look at. And again, all of this is to make sure that you can afford this home that you're purchasing or refinancing or doing anything with on any type of a mortgage. The first mortgage, second mortgage, line of credit, whatever we're looking at, we look at all of the loans the same.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, we're about at the end of the time of our podcast here. I think right around or a little over the 20-minute mark. But is there anything else that you would want to share with our listeners or any advice you can give when it comes to underwriting of a mortgage loan? Like you said, Linda, that doesn't always mean a purchase, but it could also mean a home equity loan or some of the other lines of credit that may come through using the equity or purchasing of a home.
I would say if you're looking to do a mortgage, it's a good idea to start gathering any documents that you think might help the underwriter see things about your income or your debts, because they may ask for things and it's nice to have all that ready to go when you apply for the mortgage.
Yeah, including assets or anything that you might have, because maybe we're not going to use it for the transaction, but it just builds up your transaction. It builds up your mortgage. Yeah, your file gets built up.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. Well, excellent. Thank you all very much for your time. Interesting conversation about underwriting. Who would have thought that we could spend 15, 20 minutes talking about underwriting on these kind of things. But there's so much to learn when it comes to talking about mortgage loans. So thank you for sharing your expertise with us. And thank you to our listeners for joining us today. And remember, if you have any questions about home loans, home equity, the home buying process, or yes, even underwriting, feel free to reach out to us. You can contact us by email at homeloans@unitedone.org. We'd love to highlight and answer your question in a future podcast. So please do reach out to us. And if you like what we're doing, we encourage you to give us a like and rate us wherever you get your podcasts, and feel free to share our podcast with others. You can follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, where you can find us at Facebook/UnitedOneCU, and on Instagram with @UnitedOneCU. So join us next time. It'll be our 10th episode. So we're going to have some fun celebrating. That's right. We're going to celebrate that we've survived and that we're thriving, and our podcast is going to make it to double digits.
We're going to pop open that champagne bottle.
Woo! That's right. Yes, we'll get the good stuff.
Have some
so please make sure to
morning.
Join us. Yeah, there you go. Maybe let's record the next one on a Friday morning, right? We'll just
I like that idea.
Maybe the afternoon.
The Mimosas and mortgages.
Yes, Friday afternoon. There you go. There you go.
Record it outside
We
could record it outside at Carrie's house with her,
in my
garden.
In the garden. That's right.
Location food.
We could do that. We could have a spin-off show, where we talk about the lighter side of mortgages.
Yeah.
Are there?
Are there? Oh, well, thank you all very much for tuning in. And until next time, take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.